So we're going to look at 2 traits at a time. We're going to look at tall and short. That's one characteristic. And then we'll look at, let's say, green is dominant to yellow. So we're going to be looking at 2 things. This is going to introduce us to Mendel's third law, the law of incomplete dominance. No, I'm sorry. What am I saying? The law of independent assortment. And these are also known in your textbook as dihybrid crosses. So you can be taking these notes again on page 27, and then I'm going to give you a practice worksheet to work on over it. So if you look at a plant, and I say that this plant is a true breeding or a purebred tall plant, what would the genotype be? Capital T, capital T. If I said this plant is also purebred or true breeding green,
Capital G, capital G.
Capital G, capital G. Okay, so now do you see that there are 2 traits being used to describe this one plant? This plant is tall and green. What kind of combinations of gametes can this plant make? Remember, law of segregation says that the pairs of chromosomes separate, and that the gametes get half as many chromosomes as the parent. So the gametes are going to get one of the T pair and one of the G pair. So what type of gamete could this parent make? What are the combinations of T and G could we get? All this parent has to give is big T's and big G's. This parent, since it's a pure breeding parent, can only give one type of gamete, right?
Yeah.
What if the parent was a hybrid for tall, purebred green?
Hybrid could give either capital T and regular G, or a lowercase t and a capital G. Yeah. 2 small.
Okay, do you guys all agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Either the big T with the big G or the little t with the big G. It's really only 2 options. Okay, what if it was hybrid for both? Okay, this is where I like to use something that I've nicknamed the FOIL method. Remember when you're multiplying polynomials, you do first, inside, outside, last in math?
No.
Okay. Okay, so if you don't remember it from math, okay, if you have, what are all the combinations we could get? We could get the big T with the big G.
The little t with the little g.
The big T with the little g.
Oh.
I try to do it kind of in order so that I don't leave anything out. Little t with the big G. And the little t with the little g. The first one with the first one. This one could go with the T with the little g, little t with the big G, little t with the little g. So all of these plants are tall and green, aren't they?
Yeah.
But depending upon what traits they have, that you can get all kinds of different offspring possibilities. So the Punnett squares that we've been dealing with have been simple. They've been only 4 squares. If we take and we cross 2 parents who are true hybrids, this Punnett square ends up being 16 squares. 4 lines down, 4 lines across. And to fill in the boxes to show what kind of offspring those two parents could make, you just put the T's and the G's back together inside the boxes. So I want you to finish filling in the Punnett square. For these, you don't report genotype ratios. You only report phenotype ratios. So I know what the result's going to be because it's always the same. Okay? Were you guys all okay? And you know how to fill in all of the boxes?
Yeah.
Okay, you put your T's and your G's back together, and if there's a capital letter in the T's, you put the capital letter first. But you just keep the T's and the G's separate. Sorry, I made myself some tea because I've got a really sore throat. But I know that when we have a cross and we have two sets of traits that are both hybrid, we always get a 9-3 to 3-1 ratio. We always get 9 that are going to be dominant for both traits. So in this case, 9 that are tall and green. 3 that are tall but yellow. 3 that are short and green. So recessive for the first, dominant for the second. And 1, this little guy down here, is short and yellow. So you always have that same ratio, 9-3 to 3-1. If it's a true dihybrid cross. So for your test, you're not going to have to set this up all from scratch. But what you do have to do is if it's set up for you, you need to be able to put the right letters in the box. And then you need to be able to look at this and say, oh, that's tall and green. Oh, that's short and yellow. Okay? Short, green, right? Tall, yellow, and so on. Okay? Any questions on this? Okay, so I'm going to give you a worksheet to work on in class. You don't have to finish it for homework, and we'll start up tomorrow finishing the practice worksheet that I'm going to give you. It's all on 2 trait crosses. Also, 6th period, you never took your 11-2 vocab quiz.
No.
So I'm going to give that to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay? So I wanted to make sure you had plenty of time. I sent you a remind yesterday. Okay?
How many questions are there?
Oh, it's like 7. Okay?
Oh, damn.
Question? Dihybrid, 2 trait cross. All right, this is a really quick introduction.